Elliot Crane perfected the art of being invisible. Not literally, of course, but close enough. He kept his head down at work, ate lunch alone, and timed his grocery runs to avoid crowds. His apartment was neat, quiet, and empty in a way that felt permanent. Loneliness had stopped feeling like a problem. A long time ago, it has become a routine. He noticed the man on a Thursday. The cafe was nearly empty, just the way Elliot liked it. Rain tapped softly against the windows, and the low hum of conversation made it easy to disappear. Elliot sat at his usual corner table, laptop open, pretending to work. That's when he felt it. Not a sound, not a movement, just attention. He looked up. Across the room, a man sat alone, watching him. Not staring rudely, not aggressively, just watching. Elliot frowned and looked back down at his screen. Ignore it, he told himself. But a few seconds later, he looked up again. The man was still there. Same calm expression, same steady gaze. Elliot closed his laptop. That was enough for today. The next evening, Elliot returned. He almost didn't, but routine pulled him back. And there he was again, same table, same posture, waiting. Elliot hesitated, then walked over. "Can I help you?" he asked, keeping his tone neutral. The man smiled slightly. "You always ask that when you're uncomfortable." Elliot blinked. "What?" The man gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit, Elliot." A chill crept down Elliot's spine. "I didn't tell you my name." "No," the man said calmly. "You didn't." Elliot didn't move. "Who are you?" The man considered him for a moment. "That's a complicated question." "Try me." Another small smile. "I will, but you should sit first." Every instinct told Elliot to walk away, but something, curiosity maybe, or the strange pull of being seen, made him sit. Up close, the man looked ordinary. Mid-30s, dark hair, clean cut. Familiar somehow, but Elliot couldn't place it. "You take your coffee black," the man said. "No sugar. You used to add cream, but you stopped 3 years ago." Elliot's stomach tightened. "Okay, that's not hard to guess. You stopped because she liked it that way," the man continued. "And after she left, you couldn't stand the taste anymore." Elliot's breath caught. "You don't know that." The man tilted his head. "Don't I?" Elliot pushed back from the table. "This isn't funny. If this is some kind of joke, you still have her number saved," the man said quietly. "You check it sometimes just to see if she's changed it." Elliot froze. No one knew that. No one. "Who are you?" he whispered. The man's expression softened. "I told you, it's complicated." They sat in silence for a moment. Rain pressed harder against the windows. Elliot's mind raced. "Did you follow me? Hack something? My phone?" The man shook his head. "No." "Then how do you know all this?" "Because I know you." "That's not an answer. It's the only one that matters." Elliot leaned forward, anger creeping in. "Listen, if you're trying to mess with me, you wake up at 3:12 a.m. most nights," the man said. Elliot stopped. "You don't know why," he continued. "You just wake up, and for a few seconds, you feel like something is wrong, like you've forgotten something important." Elliot's throat went dry, then softer. "You haven't told anyone that, not even your therapist, because you don't think it matters." Elliot stared at him. "Who," he said slowly, "are you?" The man sighed. "All right," he said, "let's try it this way." He leaned forward, resting his arms on the table. "What was the last dream you remember?" he asked. Elliot frowned. "What does that have to do with anything?" "Just answer." Elliot hesitated. Then, reluctantly, "I was in my childhood house, but it was empty, like no one had ever lived there." The man nodded. "And you were looking for something." Elliot's eyes widened. "How do you—" "You went into your old room," the man continued. "But it wasn't your room anymore. The walls were blank. The furniture was gone." Elliot's heart pounded. "And then you heard a voice," the man said, "calling your name." Elliot's hands trembled. "Stop!" "But when you turned around," the man finished, "there was no one there." "Stop!" Elliot snapped, standing abruptly. The cafe went quiet. A few people glanced over. Elliot lowered his voice, shaking. "That's not possible." The man looked up at him, calm as ever. "It is if you understand where I come from." Elliot sat back down slowly. "Then explain it," he said. "Because right now, you sound insane." The man nodded. "I'm you," he said. Elliot let out a short, disbelieving laugh. Of course you are. Not exactly, the man added. Not like you're thinking. Then what? The man's eyes held his. I'm the version of you who stayed, Elliot frowned. Stayed where? The man studied him. You don't remember. Remember what? A pause. Then, the night everything changed. Elliot's chest tightened. What are you talking about? The man leaned back, watching him carefully. 3 years ago, he said, the night she left. Elliot's jaw clenched. I remember that. Do you? Yes. Then tell me what happened. Elliot opened his mouth and stopped. The memory slipped. It wasn't gone, just unclear, like trying to recall a dream. We argued, he said slowly, and then she left. The man's gaze sharpened. That's all? Elliot hesitated. Yes. The man shook his head. No, that's what you tell yourself. Elliot felt something twist inside him. Then what happened? He demanded. The man leaned forward again. You had a choice, he said. You could have followed her, said the things you didn't say, fixed what was breaking. Elliot's chest tightened. But you didn't, the man continued. You stayed. Elliot stared at him. What does that even mean? It means, the man said softly, that there was another version of you who didn't. The cafe seemed to shrink around them. You're saying, Elliot swallowed, you're from some kind of alternate reality? The man smiled faintly. If that helps you understand it. Elliot shook his head. No, that's not, this isn't real. Isn't it? You're just some guy who knows too much. Then explain the dream. Elliot couldn't. Explain why you wake up at 3:12, the man added. Why you feel like something is missing. Elliot's hands clenched. Because it is, the man said. You left something behind. Silence fell between them. Heavy, unavoidable. Why are you here? Elliot asked finally. The man's expression softened. Because you're stuck, he said. And I remember what that feels like. Elliot looked at him. And you're not? The man hesitated. Not anymore. What changed? The man smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. I didn't stay, he said. They sat there for a long time, talking, or maybe unraveling. Elliot asked questions. The man answered, sometimes clearly, sometimes in ways that only raised more. But one thing became certain. Whoever, or whatever this man was, he wasn't lying. When the cafe began to close, Elliot stood. I don't know if I believe you, he said. The man nodded. You don't have to. Then why tell me all this? The man stood as well. Because you're at that point again, he said. Elliot frowned. What point? The man met his gaze. The one where you choose whether to stay or move. Elliot's chest tightened. What happens if I stay? He asked quietly. The man didn't answer right away. Then, you already know. Elliot swallowed. And if I don't? A faint smile. Then maybe, the man said, you won't need me anymore. They stepped outside into the rain. Elliot turned to him. Will I see you again? He asked. The man shook his head. Not if you make the right choice. Elliot frowned. And what is that? The man stepped back, already fading into the night. Stop being invisible, he said. And then he was gone. Elliot stood there for a long time, rain soaking through his jacket, heart racing, mind spinning. Then slowly he pulled out his phone. He stared at the contact he hadn't touched in 3 years. His thumb hovered, shaking. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't stay. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.